All right, welcome, welcome. This is the Images Literary Magazine release party for our Centennial Edition. My name's Mason, that's Sean Monroe, and we are the co-chairs of the Images Literary Committee, that's what it's called. And we've been working on this Centennial Edition. Students submitted over, 2020 and 2021 as well. And one of our goals with this issue was to accept submissions from every entrant. And so there are multiple submissions in here from every entrant that submitted something for us. So, yeah, and we're here now to celebrate the people that were submitted and published. So, do we have any students with us that were published? Excellent, welcome. You're invited to read something that was published in the magazine or other things as well. And of course, anyone else who is here and would like to share something that they've written, are welcome to get up and share that with us. Great, so yeah, whoever would like to go.
All right, Mason.
Break some ice. Break some more ice. So
Yeah, break some ice.
So we also do a contest every year. This is last year's winner. Soja Jamar is a student here at Delgado who won the photography contest, the art contest. And we chose one of his images, or actually Joe chose the image for the cover out of all the student images and art submitted in the magazine. Next year will be graphic novels, comics, sequential art. So images are stories told through images and words. And the judge over here will be Corey Pellerin. So everything that is submitted in that category will be basically a finalist, and then he'll pick one that is exemplary, write a little introduction to it as well. The contest is free, doesn't cost anything. You can win 100 cold hard cash dollars. Whole $100, whole 100. A nice
big check?
Comes in a huge check, 14-foot check. And then 50 of these broadsides go up around campus. You, as the winner, also get some too. So I imagine we'll get like the graphic novel printed on here, the comics printed on here. Very, very nice. And of course, you'll be published in the magazine. And all the above. All right. Does anybody have anything they would like to share or read? Audra? Audra looks like she's coming in with a poem. Catch you right off the bat. Hello and welcome. Feel free to grab snacks. You don't necessarily have to sit down for the whole thing. You can mill about. You can do some cartwheels. You can do some tumbling on the floor if you wish. If anyone wants to read anything from the magazine, you're welcome to read anything. You don't have to necessarily have published it in there. You can read your own poems, all that kind of jazz as well. You look like you have something you want to share.
I can say something.
Come on up.
Yay.
Woo. Thank you. I have 3 submissions that were published in the book. I feel very honored. Thank you. One of them especially meant a lot to me. It's on page 67, and it's called What We Leave Behind. It hit home for me because my stepdad was murdered in 2020 due to mental illness in the family. And I wrote this more or less because of what happened. If I can, I'll read it for y'all. It says, the year 2020 held harsh detriment to the world. So many lives were lost. Coronavirus, COVID-19, a highly contagious virus that attacks the lungs of humans, many resulting in death. It spread like wildfire. coronavirus claimed the lives of 578,945 people, according to the CDC, in the United States alone, and the number is still growing in the year 2021. Meanwhile, there are still others dying due to accidents, violence, diseases, suicide, and natural causes, increasing the number of deaths that year. The loss is enormously spread everywhere, all over the globe. After losing many people that I have loved dearly, as well as seeing such a huge number of families losing loved ones during this COVID-19 pandemic, I have thought to myself and heard the phrase, "But he or she was such a good person." Although true, I have unintentionally come to learn that having been a good person or not does not determine who dies and who doesn't. The sad fact is that death will one day come for us all, and often during times that are unexpected and inconvenient. The key to our inevitable death is that what we leave behind. The impact that we have given to society and the long after we are gone, loving memories that carry on in the hearts of our loved ones. If you are always working exceedingly long hours or doing things of similar nature to keep you steadily busy, your memories and impact that you leave behind become limited. Taking time out for yourself and for your family is especially important for your mental health, as well as giving you the opportunity to make long-lasting impacts and memories. Your job or whatever you're doing that kept you very busy will replace your position within a week or two and the task follows to the next qualified available person. Life will resume to normal for all who are still here on earth. Pampering yourself, finding a hobby, and doing something active are all good ways to take some time out for yourself. After all, you are special, unique, and only have been given one life to live. Who knows how short or long it may be? Why take life for granted? When we can come make the most of today. Slow down and take deep breaths. Breathe the beauty of life in as much as you can. Sayings such as each day that we have on earth is not guaranteed, or live each day as if it were your last, are testament that in life each moment is precious and that life is not promised to any of us. We can leave this earth at any fateful moment. It is not advised to just get up and quit your job, but be sure to take the time out for yourself and your family. Make those great impacts and long-lasting memories with your family and friends, as they will be all that's left after we're gone. Thank you.
I'll read one of my favorite ones out of here. It's my favorite because I kind of hate it and love it at the same time. It's Kayla Bourgeois. Kayla Bourgeois, are you here? Going once, going twice. So I'm going to read her poem. It's on page 17. Sonnet about Zoom.
It's exactly what I was like. She was my student. It was great.
Sonnet about Zoom. I see you on a screen, talking loud. Your pants, unseen. By technology, I am wowed. How far we have come to have get-togethers online. What has this pandemic made us become? Are these social interactions still genuine? Oh, Zoom, how easy you have made things. In-person contact gone, a price paid for safety. Meeting ID and class online. What convenience this brings. So many changes are happening lately. The pandemic may fade away, but Zoom is here to stay. Would anyone else like to read one, or any poem they like, or any short story? I could read another. Do you have another poem you'd like to read, Elizabeth?
I can. Okay, this one was it's on page 31. It's called A Caring Reminder. As we go out, we wear a mask. It's so easy to do, not much of a task. To protect you and I is why we wear it. Because if you have COVID-19, you don't want to share it. A virus so small the naked eye can't see. Wearing a mask can help us stay COVID-free. So do the world a favor and cover your face. Remember to wash your hands and give 6 feet of space.
Come on in, come on in. Feel free to grab some coffee over here. There's also some snacks. There's some bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-S. There's LaCroix, so LaCroix is however you pronounce it. The coffee's very hot, so watch your tongue on the coffee, especially if you're gonna read. There's copies of images over here, the student-run literary journal here at Delgado. There are some flyers over there as well that tell you how to submit for the next year. Submissions are going to be open all year, all summer, and all fall. And the next issue will come out next spring, just like this one came out in spring. You'll also see some old posters over there from past student winners. There's a poster from the poetry winner 3 or 4 years ago. There's a poster from the fiction winner a few years ago. And there is a poster, the green one right there in the middle, who is also on the cover, the visual art winner from the Centennial Issue year. 100 years and 100 pages. This is by far our plumpest magazine yet.
Plump, baby.
Yeah.
Would anyone like to read some of their work or something they've published in the magazine? There's plenty of time, we're in no rush. Joe, where you at, Joe?
Oh, you want me to read something?
Or you want to read your introduction to the visual art?
My introduction?
Yeah, you wrote it.
Did I write one? Oh.
Yeah, you wrote one, it's in there.
Let's
Page
not
6,
do that.
page 6.
How about I read I'll read someone's poem or something. I got it.
Take as many copies of the magazine as you'd like. 2 is okay, 3 is fine.
I think I saw one about this. Ooh, quarantine haiku. Is Katie Pendergrass here? No? Okay, I'll read hers. Although, well, never mind. These look like many haikus combined. Rules. Quarantine haiku. Katie Pendergrass. Sunshine and water drops, sweat, smiles, and blue popsicles into the bounce house. Uncertain school year, don't let her see your unease. Time for game face, Mom. These babies need you, but your actions are unsafe. Just wear the damn mask. You must be muted, your face must always be seen, you must be alone. I think this is in reference to being in class. Mask, shield, gloves, gown, check. No one thought it would be like this. COVID nursing school. Time with my babies, time I had forgotten. Morning hugs, good nights. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah, this is the COVID nursing school. This sounds like, you know, her experience in the Zoom classrooms. What was the stuff about? You must be muted. Let's do another one. There was one about, yeah, wear a mask. I like this. Is Preston Dupuis here? Preston? All right, I'm going to read your poem. Wear a mask. Right. It protects others. Wear a mask so you can go in stores. Wear a mask or you can't come in. Wear a mask when you bring a friend. Wear a mask. It's not that big a deal. Wear a mask. It slows the spread.
I'd like to sing, and I hope you join me. John Lennon's Imagine. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm gonna read Mary Oliver's Summer Day. Not quite summer yet. Spring. April showers forcing us inside. But you know what they say. April showers bring
May flowers.
And what do May flowers bring? Pilgrims. Pilgrims.
Oh.
Pilgrims, come on. Summer day, Mary Oliver. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down, how to kneel down into the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it that you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
All right, I'll share something. This semester in my English 102 classes, I asked my students to memorize and recite a sonnet. And because I'm fair, I did it myself. And I'll share that with you now. This is a very famous sonnet. It's called Ozymandias. Some of you are probably familiar with it, by Percy Shelley. I met a traveler from an antique land who said 2 vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal, these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away. Percy Shelley, everybody.
I'm gonna go for it, because I keep opening up the book to this one page, and I happen to be a sci-fi fan. So, you know, this is what, whenever sometimes I say, what do I need to know today? And I'll open up a book, and that can sometimes be a scary thing, believe me. Malcolm Gladwell's new book is frightening. I'm just gonna say it. Here we go. I keep opening up to this one now. The Time of My Life. This is by Letitia Jones. I went to Mars. It was incredible. I did not remember how I got there. I just remembered being there. It was so quiet, and there was no sound. Why am I on Mars all alone? Was there nobody else willing to come? It was dark, but really light from the other shiny planets. The ground was so rocky and rough. It felt as if I were walking on top of children toys that were left all over the floor. The touch of the ground felt so chalky and dry. It reminded me of crumbled breadcrumbs. I could see the stars like I have never seen them before, so close and personal. They were beautiful. It was better than a skyline view of a beautiful city at night. I was memorized, hypnotized by the brightness of the light, so strong yet subtle. I just remembered the feeling of being so lonely. I mean, Mars is beautiful, But do I want this experience all for myself? I would love to have company. I need someone to talk to. I want to go home. I miss all my family and friends. With nothing but time on my hands, I began thinking, maybe there are other people on the other planets. Everything seems so distant from one another. But just maybe, there is someone on the other planets. I never even thought of a plan to get to these other planets. I was just doomed. I was tired of being in this beautiful place all alone. I placed my hands on my face and began to cry. My face and hands were so wet, as if I had dipped them in a river. I then woke up to my daughter waking me up with a cold towel on my face. I just looked up and smiled. The end.
Hello, my name is Elena. I'm in the creative writing class with Ms. Monroe. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Yeah. So this poem, I wrote it. The name is The Boss. Also, I, Eva, take you, Adam, as my husband. I promise to serve you and God all the days of my life. I promise to be a good wife and a good mother. I promise not to listen to my conscience or my common sense. I promise never doubt your word or God's word. I promise to be submissive, quiet, and obedient. I promise to put my pleasure on hold to give you everything you need. I promise not to ask why you have red lipstick on your lips and glitter on your eyes. I promise to pretend that I don't know that you wear my heels when I'm not around. I promise to look away every time I found you trying one of my new dresses. I promise to be faithful to you, accept you, and love you as you are. I, Lily, take myself as a priority. I promise to be loyal to my spirit and my free will. I promise to question everything that it says to me. I promise to trust my inner voice and stand for myself to the oppressions of this world. I promise to say no, and I promise to say yes, yes, or God, yes. I promise to have an orgasm every time I have sex. I promise to love my body every day of the month and not be ashamed of my blood. I promise not to apologize for being emotional. I can be sensitive and I can be strong. I promise not to forget my needs and my dreams when I'm in love. I promise to live the life that I want and always follow my heart. I promise to empower my femininity and to accept me and love me as I am.
Hello, hello. Hopefully y'all are hitting the snacks over there, the coffee, the bananas. No one's had a banana yet, I think. Potassium is good for you, helps you read. Any other people who are published in here who want to come up and read what they published? Anybody? There's a banana going down. I would also like to say that Elena has volunteered to be a student editor for the next issue.
All right.
A round of applause there. If you are interested in being a student editor, because it doesn't have just be only one, there can be plenty more than one, please get in touch with me, Sean Munro, M-U-N-R-O, or Mason Joyner, J-O-I-N-E-R.
J-O-I-N-E at UCC.edu, just if you're going to email me.
There it is. If you type his name, Mason, into the email, you will find him. Our offices are right down the hall of 115E. Ask Wildman Eddie at the front desk. He'll point you right to our offices. If you want to be a student editor, we'd love to have you. The more, the merrier with that stuff. It's always helpful to have more than one person hanging around reading some of this stuff, because we anticipate a lot of submissions this year. That being said, don't forget to grab a flyer in the direct center over there that tells you how to submit your work. Submissions are free, and the student editors choose what goes into the magazine. The teachers, the faculty, have nothing to do with it. It's the student magazine run by students, created by students. We want y'all to do the work, not us to do the work, right? It's y'all's choices, y'all's aesthetic choices going into this magazine, which is fantastic. I guess I'll read one from here. There's a dirty one in here, I think. Where is it? Alexander Dunn, are you here? It's a great title on this one. Like Shit Down a Clogged Drain by Alexander Dunn. It's on page 20. Everyone in here is a laborer. Hands calloused from a life of repair, face showing far-room bottle wounds. My beat knuckles bleed from teeth of men whose words flowed like shit down a clogged drain. These hands destroyed another man's hostility. I'm not known for restraint. His words were acid on skin, and 18 days in the county jail. I stumbled through double doors proclaiming my affection toward the barkeep. Her wine lips smile as the cold steel rattled around my wrists. Her eyes followed me as I was pulled out onto the concrete, his jaw fractured. Teeth scattered along the floor, his words now a gurgle of bubble of gibberish. Blood drips off my fingers like brandy through a cracked tumbler. In 18 days, she'll plant her ass on the hood of a brown rusted pickup truck just outside the jail. Fun stuff there. All kinds of exciting stuff in here. Does anyone else have a poem they like to read out of here? They have their own work they like to read? Read a short story out of here. You can read all the contributor bios in the back of the magazine. Another one? Yeah. All right, Elizabeth, come on up.
I do have another submission, but it's a long story, so we won't go there. This one's by Lisa Black. I thought it was a nice poem flipping through it. Like she said, it kept opening up on this one page, so I'm going to read it for her. It's called March 2020. Buying toilet paper. We're watching Tiger King. Shut down for 8 weeks. Lysol wipes. Clorox. No socializing with friends, hanging out with pets. Summer is coming. Masks are suffocating me. Don't want the Rona. Almost October. I think I'll sign up for school. It's been a long time. I'd like to travel, but I have been home for so long. Hopefully next year.
So it's open all year. The deadline's like December 31st.
Okay.
Yeah. Plenty of time to submit.
I only did one. I'm a culinary student. I just finished my hospitality degree and I'm doing culinary arts for fun because, you know, I can. And so I wrote this when I first started for the best cook that I've ever known in my entire life, and that would be my grandma. So I grew up all over the place, or so it seemed. It was Southern California in the early 70s. I was the product of teenage parents. feuding, irresponsible, back and forth. Here and there, nowhere. A series of foster homes, everyone a different dining room table. Some comfortable, most not. Now and then, circumstances would return me to my grandmother's table in Riverside, California. Rectangular, long, smooth, rich dark wood, topped with a lace runner, napkin holder, salt and pepper shakers. My grandmother's home was always very tidy, always very clean, especially her beloved kitchen table, with its high back matching chairs, many children, my uncles, my aunt, their friends, my grandparents, safe, happy, comfortable. My grandmother was a diminutive Puerto Rican woman. Her name was Hilda. She had brown eyes and red hair, sometimes brunette, sometimes both. She was a fiery Latina with a thick Spanish accent. My step-grandfather was a tall, rotund man. He was of Mexican descent. His skin olive, his eyes dark as coffee, his voice so gentle and wise. He was stern, disciplinarian, fair and just. He was the elder of the congregation that they attended. His name was David. He was a standard as an adult that I judge all men against. I loved my grandparents. At that time of my life, they were the only stable constant I knew. My grandmother was an incredible cook. She would bustle about her kitchen, every burner hot, bubbling, sizzling, the smell of sofrito wafting about the air, onions, peppers, garlic, cilantro, tomatoes, the smell of Latin food. If safety could have a smell, that would be it. My grandmother expressed her love for people by feeding them. It has informed my adult and motherhood deeply. My grandfather would take me on excursions to the bottle shop, sampling sodas of every flavor, colorful bottles. We would load into plastic crates and store in the garage. Bubbly, fizzy. I loved sitting on Grandpa's lap with an effervescent root beer and his laughter in his recliner rocker watching the Muppet Show. I do not remember much of childhood by choice, but I remember Grandpa and Grandma's home and their fabulous rectangular table. I remember beautiful, bountiful meals, myself amongst my family, my seat, last on the left, my grandfather at the head of the table. Every meal he asked us to bow our heads and give thanks for the blessing of our family. He was a faithful man, a loving husband, a selfless provider. I adored him. A day came when my father showed up, angry, hostile, threatening. My chronically absent mother locked away in some abysmal place that was huge and terrifying to visit, like a dungeon under a cold, dark fortress. She was gone, unable to care for me, and I was left in the care of her parents. And there was my father, angry and arrogant. He demanded they hand me over, threatening, fearful, lawyers, courtrooms, the judge's chambers. Where do you want to live? The judge asked me. With my grandparents, I responded. With that, custody was awarded to my truck driver, single father, and off I went. A series of babysitters and latchkey afternoons. I was left alone a lot. TV dinners, box cereal, a small square table by myself. It was laminate. Cold, dirty, upholstered chairs. I was maybe 9 or 10 at the time. It was the late 70s. My father in his late 20s. Coming and going, he left me here, there, anywhere. Eventually, foster homes, strangers. After a while, he announced he had gotten a job with a traveling circus. And he pulled me out of school, and we hit the road, living in a semi-truck, traveling with the show from one mall parking lot to another, zigzagging our way across the state. My father thought it was fun. It was no place for a 10-year-old girl. It was sometime in the fall, I believe, maybe 1981. We arrived in El Monte, California. I met a teenage girl there. My father drove the truck that housed the Samoyed Dog Act. I was sitting outside, playing with one of the dogs, I think. Dirty, alone, obviously truant. She was on the outside of the rope boundary that separated the parking lot from the back lot of the circus. She called me over. She asked me where my parents were. When was the last time I'd had a bath? When was the last time I slept in a real bed? Had a home-cooked meal. Where was my mother? I did not know. She wanted to meet my dad, so I took this strange girl, my new friend, to meet my dad. I'm not sure how it transpired exactly, but the next thing I knew, I was in a strange car, headed to a strange house, sitting at a strange table. But there I was, making the best of a reality beyond my control. I remember the table of this strange but kind family. It was rectangular like my grandmother's. Their kitchen did not smell of sofrito. It smelled of herbs and baked bread, lots of warm bread. These people were different, but they were closer to the safety of my grandparents than I had known before. I loved them. They were kind and they were decent. One day, the mother exclaimed she had a surprise for me. She said, "We found your grandparents." She said, "They are on their way." I remember their teenage daughter. I don't remember her name, but her face. She was beautiful. Young, brown eyes, brown hair, a sweet and empathetic heart. In the bathroom, she curled my hair. She was so excited. She dressed me like a doll baby with the new sundress that she had bought me with her own money. She was the kindest teenager I've ever met to this day. The station wagon arrived, and there were my grandparents, crying, joyful, relieved. I had been missed. While I was away, they had relocated to Hayward, California, the Bay Area. Gone was the house in Riverside with the long rectangular table. In its place was a condo, 2 stories, but much smaller than the house I remember. And the familiar smell of sofrito, and a different table, a round table, but there was the lace runner and the same salt and pepper shakers. I was home. New, high-backed wooden chairs, fewer of them, but it was still my grandmother's table, and if I was there, I was safe. Presently, the table in my home is rectangular. From time to time, my house smells like sofrito, but it sometimes smells like herbs and baked bread. My table is the beating heart of the home I share with my husband, a man who shares a lot of qualities that my grandfather possessed. He's kind, loving, and a selfless provider. My own children sit at my table. They do not have parents like mine. I saw to that. Life is simpler for them. At my table, they will always be safe.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much.